Welcome back to the Apocalypse. My name is Vormithrax, and this is episode number 47 for our Let's Play tutorial of Cataclysm Dark Days Ahead. And in this episode, we're going to get a few more of our critical tools built, and we might do a couple of quick experiments in some skill level ups that I'm interested in. Did some checking on our skills and some items that I know I want to pursue in between episodes, and I just want to check to see what kind of XP we can get from manufacturing a few things. We're pretty much out of useful books to read for the moment for skill up purposes, and there's still one or two skills I'd like to bump up just a little higher. But beyond that, we've got some plans, but after we get these tools made and we check these skills, I just want to show you the list of things we can make. As you push your skills up, the game just gets broader and broader and broader with possible content, and there are so many possible choices and paths to pursue. It's just crazy. I mean, every time you play the game, you can go down a different area or investigate a different section of gear and items and so on. That just makes it really cool. So let's take a look. As usual, our status, full health, we're good on food and water, focus is good, got no negative effects. I've got the guitar in hand. We'll start that up here in a second so we can hopefully keep our morale up. So no negative effects there, nothing to worry about here, so we're in good condition. So what we're going to do, we had gone out and grabbed some frames, some steel frames, and some scrap metal and such from some vehicles, and now we're going to put that to use and make a few more critical items. So first thing we're going to take a look at is the crucible. So we're going to do F to search, type in crucible. And there we go. Everything green's lit up, so we are good to try to make this. It's only difficulty 2 and we're a skill 6, so it should be fairly simple now that we've got the materials on hand. So we'll go ahead and tell it to build this. Now notice time to complete 4 hours. So we're going to burn some daylight while we get this done, but we need it. The critical item for any kind of metalworking that you're going to do. Alright, so the crucible is too heavy to carry, so you drop it. So there's our crucible right there. You can see here this is a small metalworking crucible. It's used in some metalworking fabrication recipes. Alright. Used in a lot of metalworking fabrication recipes. So very critical item. So we've got that done. We'll step back on that spot and let's get our next thing done. So now that we have the crucible ready, let's look at building an anvil. And there we go. Anvil, which required a crucible. So we've got our hammering tool, crucible, we have an acetylene torch. We've got to be really careful about what we use that for right now, because I don't have a way of recharging it. The 30 charges is not battery charges, so I got to make sure I use it to build the critical tools and not use all those charges for other things this early. And then it also takes 4 steel frames, so quite a few steel frames to build an anvil. And you can see here an enormously heavy block of oddly shaped steel with a chisel-like projection set in the corner. It's used in most metalworking fabrication recipes. Yes, it is. Alright, and again, another 4 hours are going to go by while we finish this thing off. Oh, forgot to turn my guitar on. Alright, so we managed to get both of those done before the sun went down. It's almost 9 o'clock, so I'll have to light a fire here pretty soon. But the anvil is done, so there is our beautiful anvil in the pile. I'll zoom in so you guys can take a look at our wonderful tools. Let's turn this guitar on before I forget again. Alright, so we've got those two things completed. What's next? Next, we're going to look at the electric forge. I think I brought back enough heating elements. I haven't actually checked yet. We went and banged up a few more stoves to add to our heating element supply in our stockpile here, and if we've got 8, I think we're all set to try to build the electric forge. So let's bring up the list, search for forge. Oh, we missed it. Darn it. So we don't have enough. How many do I have in the pile here? Find heating. 7, of course. Alright, can we make a heating element? I actually didn't check that, so find heating. We can, all it takes is some copper wire and soldering iron charges. No problem, we're going to make one of those. Only going to take 7 minutes. I think I can afford the copper wire. I've got other things I need to do with copper wire, so we might end up going on a copper wire hunt pretty quick, but we got it done, so we got the heating element. So now let's bring this back up and do Yeah, the forge. Alright, electric forge. So we can see lots of tools. So you've got to have a toolkit, toolbox, or you've got to have each of these abilities through various tools. So also is going to use up some of my acetylene torch charges, the very valuable charges, but an electric forge is critical. A portable electric metalworking forge powered by batteries. Combined with the right tools, you could use this for metalworking. With a little mechanical know-how, you could probably even convert it to run directly off a vehicle's power system, which we will do eventually. Alright, so we are going to build this thing, and it's going to be 3 hours. Let's hold off on that for a second. We need to actually get something to drink. Let's drink... Do I still have any tea? I think I drank all my tea back when I made myself sick by eating too much. Let's just have some water. And let's go ahead, might make a few more things. So I'm going to go ahead and eat some happiness foods. So let's have some cookies and some Pop-Tarts. And raw lasagna is a plus 12. Oh, that's nutrition. I'm looking at the wrong column here. Sugary cereals. What else has got good values? Cheap wine. No thanks. Let's get out of the alcohol section here real quick. Buttered popcorn's a plus 10. Alright, that should get the morale rolling up and get their focus up again. So we're at 105. Let's hopefully push that up a little higher. And we need something a little more solid to eat as well. So another batch of smoked meat. Alright. So we're good there. So now we've got our forge, our crucible, and our anvil. Actually, I didn't make the forge yet, did I? I don't think I did. Alright, so let's get working on our forge. Oh, cancel. We're going to lose the light here in just a second, so we might as well get the fire started. We'll go with three heavy sticks. We'll see if that lasts. Alright, now we'll get the forge going. And we're going to use scrap metal. That's usually what I have the most of. And our focus is holding pretty good. Alright, you craft the electric forge from memory. It's too heavy to carry, so you drop it. No problem. We're going to go here. And we're going to move it into our pile of metalworking materials. So the forge, the anvil, and the crucible all completed. Now we do need to put batteries in the forge, so let's put let's see here. Let's wield our forked spear again. And we'll pick up the forge. Alright. Right there, reload it. Oh, out of batteries. Uh-oh. That's not a good sign. Alright, I was not next to my pile of batteries, that was the problem. So, we got the electric forge all charged up, 500 batteries. Alright, we've got our soldering iron with batteries, and the crucible and the anvil don't need any kind of power. Okay, our fire went out, so let's transfer a few more sticks. Get those lit up again. Alright, let's take a look at our list of things we can create. So, this first list, our weapons list, just went up, so we've now got a crowbar. We can make one, which we found enough earlier. We don't really care, but I just wanted to give you an idea what's on this list. Now, one thing I am giving a pretty serious consideration to making is a quarterstaff right here. So I'd only need two leather patches to create a quarterstaff. Then we can turn it into an iron shod quarterstaff. Then we can turn that into a powered quarterstaff. Sounds cool to me. So This is an iron shod quarterstaff that has a high voltage stun gun built into the handle. The stun gun's wired to the metal caps at either end of the staff, allowing you to zap a dangerous opponent should beating them senseless with it prove too hazardous. So it's got 25 bash with a +3 to hit. It's a little slower to wield, but it's got rapid strike and block. The only thing it doesn't have is the reach attack. So that's why I'm kind of debating how much I still need to rely on the reach attack, because I've gotten better layering of clothing and I've got medical supplies now. It's not as critical that I try to take advantage of the reach attack anymore, so I'm thinking of transitioning to something else. I've never used a quarterstaff much before. I've heard good things about it, and this seems like a pretty fun one, having a powered quarterstaff with rapid strike and block. Now, only thing I'm not sure of is I believe it uses bashing skill, and we've been using piercing skill primarily. Whoops. So our bashing skill isn't that high. Where are we at? We're at 2. We're at 90% to level 3. Our piercing's up at 4, so that would be one trade-off to think about. But let's go back to our crafting menu. Really, I was just trying to show what we could make now. And for cutting, we've got hatchets, scythes, machete. We're just missing some leather patches as well. So a couple of things there. Piercing. Ooh, we're starting to get survival gear. There are a number of items that are titled survival that tend to be really good high-end items, or mid to high-end. So you'll find survival weapons, backpacks, survival armor pieces, and so on. So usually they're very, very well worth leveling up into once you've got access to them. So what else have we got? Steak knife. Copper spear's got the reach attack. Steel spears on our list though, and all we need is some thread. We can easily make some thread up real quick, and we can upgrade our current spear to a steel spear. It's going to be a lot harder for it to be damaged during combat with the additional hardness value of the steel, as well as it's going to be an upgrade in the damage. So that's definitely an idea. I think that's it for that listing. So steel spears definitely on the list of things to think about. Ranged, we haven't paid a lot of attention to. We're kind of upgrading our found weapons at the moment for the ranged category. EMP grenades. I am going to make some EMP grenades. Absolutely. Right now. So EMP grenades are going to take some soldering iron. Just uses battery charges, so we can get those no problem. Super glue or long string. Long strings are pretty easy. Scrap metals, no problem. Amplifier circuits, power converters, and copper wire, I believe we can get in plentiful supply in our little electrical plant just northeast of us. So EMP grenades, though, as you see here, this is a grenade that generates electromagnetic pulse with a tiny nuclear explosion. Use this item to pull the pin and light the fuse, turning it into an active EMP grenade. You will then have 3 turns before it detonates, creating an EMP field that damages robots and drains bionic energy. This is awesome to use for the turrets. So you can use it on turrets, you can use it on literally robots. I think you can use it on cyborgs really effectively. So there's a number of electrical, futuristic type devices and critters that it'll be just very, very valuable for. So I want to have at least a few of these on me, so if we go someplace and really need them, we've got them available. So if we hit B to see how many we can batch create, we can create up to 10 of them. I think I'm going to settle for 3 for now. So let's do 3. It's going to take an hour and a half. We'll again just use scrap metal. And I think amplifier circuits are probably more common. Alright, so we did craft it, and it's too heavy to carry, so we dropped our EMP grenades. That's fine. I'm actually going to transfer them over to the weapons pile anyway. So we'll move them to there. Alright, so those are available now. So back to our list. Oops, back to weapons, explosives. So I'm glad we've got those available. We also have regular grenades. I don't think I'm going to do any of those yet. And some of this is available because of those crates we opened that had the various explosives. So let's see. Oops, back to here. Mods. This is mostly for bows and arrows. I'm not going to worry about those. Magazines. Nope. And other. Nope. Alright. ammo quite a bit, but again, it's mostly for thrown or bow-type weaponry, crossbow bolts, spears, metal crossbows. Now, if you look down the list is actually pretty long. We've got all sorts of reload possibilities for our ammo, but we're still, I don't know, I still just don't do a lot of this. We've got all the necessary tools, but we don't have a lot of primer, gunpowder. We found a little bit in that gunsmith store, but I'm just going to stick for this playthrough with found ammo. But just be aware it is available, so lots and lots of possibilities if you want to get into your own reloading of your ammo supply for your guns. Alright, so that's the pistol items, the rifle items, and you can see the specific reload choices that are available with our current skill and the books that are available. Most of these recipes we don't have memorized. They're coming out of the book that's close enough for us to use as a reference. They're coming out of the Handloader's Helper, so that's why we have access to these recipes. Alright. Usually in a lot of the games I do invest in bows and crossbows. There's some really cool weapons you can put together through those lines, and they're silent killers, quote unquote, so they don't make the noise the guns do, so I do recommend you look into them. They're very useful to go through. Yeah, nothing there. So food we're pretty familiar with. We've got a pretty big list of food items now. Due to raising our skill so high, so just a ton of various really good things. I'm not going to go through all these. You guys can investigate them. There's some really awesome recipes in there. Alright, chemicals. Lots and lots of chemicals available to us now. They all have their uses in game, so pretty much almost anything you can imagine is probably represented in some way or another if you thought your way through a real situation of survival in the zombie apocalypse. In particular, the one we might pursue are the mutagens. Originally I was looking at doing the bionic modules for our character, but I took a trait that's going to be unfortunate for us to try the bionic modules. That's the addictive personality trait, so I have to use some pretty high-end painkillers in order to be able to install bionics, and we would end up getting hooked on those and go into withdrawal, so I'm probably going to have to avoid bionics for this playthrough. So I was thinking of switching to a mutagen focus. Now that we've got a really high cooking skill and we've got enough first aid, only need a little bit for this part, all we really need is some of the materials that I've been leaving behind up till now, because I wasn't planning on pursuing this originally. But if you look here, we need a tool with chemical making of 3 or more, and we can do that, so that won't be a problem if we pursue this. We need fire, and then this is what I've been leaving behind. So tainted tallow, chunks of tainted meat, dehydrated tainted meat, blob globs, misshapen fetuses, mutated arms, and mutated legs. So the chunks of tainted meat are very much the easiest things for us to get a hold of. We just kill and butcher zombies and that drops tainted meat. So we'll have plenty of that available. I just haven't been picking it up. And then it also takes bleach and ammonia. We've got some in jugs that I've found, and we can also create more through the chemicals process, or lye powder and oxidizer powder. So a couple of choices there. And we're getting the recipes for these out of the chemical reference classified manual that we picked up. So mutagens pretty much are mutation-inducing drinks. You create it or find it, and you drink it, and then you mutate. So there's a huge list of various mutations. It's a pretty complex system and a tree of various mutations and mutation pathways. Mutations can upgrade and downgrade through various rarity levels of mutations. They have themed mutations, like you might head down an insect path and start getting antennae that give you some kind of a bonus, and chitinous armor that gives you a bonus, and so on. So there's a whole bunch of different mutations. It's a really cool system that's a lot of fun to play with. Usually if I'm going to focus on mutations, I pick a few different starting abilities that will actually aid in that pathway. So, but we might try it just so you guys can kind of see what it looks like and how it works. It's kind of a sister branch to the CBMs. You can go bionic or you can go mutagenic, or I guess you can do both. I've never tried both at once, but I usually focus one or the other. And then purifiers are ways of getting rid of mutations. So you can try to purge yourself of harmful mutations while hopefully retaining the beneficial mutations. So there are both good and bad mutations. So and there's ways to manage those. So that's something we're going to look at, hopefully. Oops, back here. So chemicals, as you can see, we've got a pretty big list of chemicals. We can make ammonia and bleach. Again, we just need the chemical making tool, and then some basic items. Charcoal primarily for bleach, just clean water, scrap metal, and charcoal. Or for ammonia, that is. And bleach, we're going to need either salt water or saline solution, and we can get that easily as well. So all of these things are possible. They all take time, so it's just a matter of what do you want to focus on and what are your needs at that particular time in your gameplay. And electronics is another area I want to focus on. I actually need to raise my electronics one more level. We're at level 5. I want to get us to 6. 6 is a critical one for one particular item. I mean, it will gain us a lot of other recipes as well, but I want to be able to build a UPS recharging station. That's something critical I want to put into our workshop power grid, so that we have a place where we can just drop tools and they'll just automatically recharge out of our battery supply that our workshop is running off of. So if we have solar power, or if we have engines burning gas for power, whatever method of power generation we have, it's nice to have a UPS recharging station so you can recharge your tools. You can convert the battery packs on your tools to be UPS rechargeable, and then you just drop them on the space with the charging station and they pull power from the main grid. So it makes it much more convenient and faster to recharge your electronic stuff. So that's the goal. There's a particular item I want to make that I think we can do. We can make it, take it apart, make it, take it apart to try to raise our electronic skill. So we'll look at that. I think that's... Let's see. Well, we'll finish looking through here. So you can see what kinds of things we have access to now. Battery compartment mod. This allows you to use vehicle batteries and small storage batteries in regular tools. So you can basically use a vehicle battery on a flashlight if you'd like. Extra battery mod gives you the ability to double the battery capacity for a tool. So instead of 100 charges of battery, it'll 200, and so on. So all of these things have either direct uses or are recipe items for other things that you build. So, and you can see down here things that we don't have the resources for one way or the other, but there's tons and tons of stuff. So here's the onboard chemistry lab. This is going to have the so chemistry lab, assembled from a chemistry set, attached to a complex wiring harness, well suited to most any chemistry project you can imagine. Unable to utilize standard batteries, it requires an external supply of electricity to operate. So a chemistry set, the basic one, is what's going to give us the cooking, chemistry cooking ability. So if we look up chemistry set, needs a hot plate and a basic chemistry set, and that is going to need either 4 glass bottles, 4 glass jars, or 4 glass flasks. So we'd have to do a little bit of scrounging around to get the materials to build it. And or, I remember we found a meth wagon somewhere. I hope I marked it on the map, because that's a place we can get an onboard chemistry station pretty easily. So that would be another option. So just so many things possible, so many things you can do and that you can focus on in various playthroughs. So let's just notice we're really thirsty. Get something to drink. Whoops. Alright. And our bologna's going old, so we want to get rid of that. Let's go ahead and I think I've actually got some cooked up. So yeah, I've got meat sandwich. I want to eat that bologna before it rots away completely. Alright, so what I want to do next, we got our critical tools created for the base. We don't really have enough frames to start building our infrastructure, our electrical grid, and all the tools and stations here in the base quite yet. We're getting closer, but we're not quite ready yet. So if I look at the items on the ground, we've got 4 steel frames. Ideally, I want to get, 10 or 15 or even 20, and that's going to take some time to tear some stuff apart to do that. I don't want to do that this particular episode. We've spent quite a bit of time in the base here. I want to get out and about for a little bit. I don't like to spend too much time in base on these episodes because I know some people just aren't interested in this portion, so I'm trying to mix things up a bit so that everybody's getting something that they enjoy watching or that they want to learn about the game. So I think what I'm going to focus on now is I am going to go ahead and make the steel spear I want to get that upgrade done. Then we're going to go chat with our NPC, and we're going to bring him into the mix. So I haven't yet, so he's standing over here. We're going to chat with him, bring him back into our group, and we're going to invite him on a bandit raid. I think it's time for us to go try to kill those bandits for our refugee center friends. So if we look at our map, right here is our home base, and we have been told or shown that they are located right here. So that there is where the bandits are. There are 3. There's Jeffrey Groves, Laurie Dennis, and Raquel McMahon. So they're holed up on the edge of this forest area. So we're going to have to go from here down to here, and we've got 2 schools and a mall in that area. We're going to try to avoid those things. So we're probably going to loop north, and we'll make it somewhat of a scouting run as well as a trip to kill the bandits. So I'll probably head north. I want to come up and just kind of check out this area with our car and our binoculars just to get it uncovered. And then we might work our way along the road line here and come over this direction and then come due south. And we'll check out these towns, and then we'll loop over, kill these guys, and then decide from there what we want to do. Kind of depends. I haven't looked recently at what buildings are over here. There's still a few buildings that I'd love to get into. I'm just scared to death of the proximity of 14 quadzillion zombies from 2 schools and a mall, all being within shouting distance of each other. That's just insane. Folks that have seen that episode know what I'm talking about with how many zombies are over there. So if you haven't seen it, feel free to back up and take a look, because it's just crazy how many zombies are in that area. So that's kind of my plan right now. So I just want to make 1 or 2 quick things. We'll talk to the NPC, get geared up, and we probably won't take off this episode. I don't want to make this one too long, but we'll take off next episode on that trip. Once we get the bandits taken care of, we'll head back. We'll talk to our refugee guys to update the quest. And depending on what we find out there, we'll make our next decision. But we'll come back to the base building aspect here in a near future episode to start getting that process done. We're just not quite there yet. But we've made great progress with the tools that we've got available to us now, so I'm really happy about that part of it. Alright, so what's it going to take to make that steel spear? I forget, we were missing something. Was it thread? Yeah, it was thread. So let's just grab a rag. We only need 1 rag. So find rag. No results. How come I have no rags here? Did I use them all? Really? Alright. Do I have any over here in the pile? Don't think there's any over here either, looks like. Alright, well let's find something we can just tear apart for some rags. What's something really damaged that I'm very unlikely to use? How about some boxer shorts? We'll grab some boxer shorts, we'll grab that undershirt. That should be plenty. Alright, so bring up the inventory. Boxer shorts, disassemble, cannot disassemble. Let's go stand in this light here, and we'll just drop these on the ground at my feet. So, like so. And then we'll butcher, cut up everything. We got 1 rag. Alright, well that's all I needed. Oops, I wanted to drop that again. Alright, down you go, rag. Disassemble, yes. Alright. So there's our 100 thread that we need, and we just lost our light. What time is it? It's 2 in the morning, so that's not gonna... Whoops. Stay there, stay there. Alright. Back to our steel spear. Oops. And let's try to spell it right. Okay, right there. Steel spear. I'll use a chunk of steel and a heavy stick. There are lots of those. I'm going to use the forge. So again, the torch is going to use a specific type of fuel that we don't have easy access to. So I'm going to use the forge because it's all fully charged up, and it's just batteries, which we're able to go out and find pretty easily. And we can actually start building batteries if we'd like. Alright, steel spear is done. It's too heavy, but that's alright. We're going to drop our forked spear right here. Yep. And go ahead and pick up Whoops. Pick up the steel spear. Alright. Let's go ahead and wield it. Okay, looks a little different. It's not the forked spear any longer, but it's got good stats. It's nice and durable, so we're gonna go ahead and use that. It's got impaling strike and block, as well as the reach attack. And so what else? We've got the EMP grenades. We're probably going to bring those along just in case we find something that we need to deal with, but I don't plan on using them unless I really need to get into somewhere. The other thing I'm thinking of doing in the near term is going ahead and going into one of the military bases. We've got a military ID card, and we've got one of those bases nearby. With the EMP grenades and some of the other equipment we've got, I'm feeling a little more confident we could get in there and get some good looting done. So that is definitely a possibility as well. Alright, so let's just go talk to the NPC real quick. Actually, let's not. Let's make the NPC talk a whole episode of its own, because he's going to take some explaining. I haven't really talked a lot about him since the beginning of the game, or the series, so it'll take a little explaining and showing you of the options that you can do with him, and we're going to need to gear him up, which I won't spend a whole bunch of time doing. What I might do is I'll do some of that in between episodes, just so you don't have to watch me sorting through piles and handing him stuff. So I'll probably do that, and then I'll just show you what he's using when the episode starts. So yeah, that's the good plan. So we did some good crafting, talked about our plans. I think I'm going to call the episode closed right here, and then continue talking to the NPC and getting him geared up, and then we'll get on the road for that trip. So thanks for watching. As always, please do take advantage of the like, comment, and subscribe options to let me know how I'm doing and what I can do better. And take advantage of the Discord channel as well. I've got linked below if you'd like to chat with me and others about the game or any of the other things we cover here on the channel. That would be great. And I hope to see you in the next episode. Have a good day. Bye-bye.